Come on, everybody, come on in. Like and share right now if you would, and subscribe to our channel. It's been a busy day, guys. Like and share. Let's bring some more people on in. You see, I see some new names on there. Good evening, Michigan, USA, Pontiac. Iron Horse, how are you doing? Mater's Workshop. The Process, I like that one. David Sneed. Brain Damage. And Jerry, how are you guys doing? Okay, we'll start here in a minute. The name of that song is the New Orleans Crawfish Bowl. Yeah, I like that Cajun food. Scarface Healy. Wow. There you go. Welcome to the show. Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation and the world. This is Texas Biker Radio and Popeye Live. You know, we used to do the program, the podcast, once a week on Tuesday nights, which we still do. But with everything that's going on in our nation, in our state, in our cities, I feel it's too long a time between Tuesday to Tuesday and not say anything in between. And being a witness to everything that's going on in our country, it calls for something to be said. And yeah, I know the media does stuff, but you know, the media doesn't cover everything. And many times they just kind of glance over it. But, man, what a busy day it was. I've been working on our event on October 3rd in Malham County, where we're seeking redress from the courts there. Judge Steve Young's court. Yeah, we're seeking redress. And for a 24-year Army veteran who is was honorably discharged after 24 years, has a Purple Heart, 2 Bronze Stars, other meritorious awards, and while driving down the highway, a DPS officer pulled him over for 7 miles over. Well, he didn't receive a ticket for speeding, but he was taken to jail for criminal carry. Now, why would that be? Well, because it turned out he was in a gang database. He had no idea. And so he ends up in jail because of it. Let me say to you, these gang databases all across the country. Well, let me say one thing first. Motorcycle clubs, no matter which ones you're talking about, are not street gangs. They are not street gangs. No place near it. If they were, If there were criminal organizations, it would be the worst organizations ever because they're going up and down the highway with the patch on the back that identifies them as a club member. But anyway, I can tell you right now, innocent people are in the gang databases. It should not be there. And this is one of them. And we know many like him. Some of our own club members are in the gang database. They have no clue why. No clue. Have never been in trouble with the law. Have no clue why they're in there. But we know this much. The DPS doesn't follow their own guidelines. They don't. They will tell you it's strict and really hard to get in there, but that's a lie. That's a lie. So anyway, this biker has been getting the ride through the court system for 3 years. For 3 years. Remember, he's a 24-year Army veteran, highly decorated, honorable discharge. In my book, he can be in any club he wants to be in. Any of them. He has served this country well. He did his duty. I mean, it's incredible the way he's being treated. But you know what? The courts and the prosecutors and law enforcement, they all collude together to try and convict innocent people. We saw it in Waco, and now we're seeing it here in Milam County, and yes, it happens in other parts of the state. And if it's happening here, it's happening in other places across the country. I'm just saying. So generally, when we show up in front of a courthouse, it's because someone's constitutional rights have been violated. And in this case, yes, his constitutional rights are being violated. He was not criminal carrying. He had a legal CHL. He had been vetted by the state as a non-criminal. But yet you can have a police officer on the side of the road enter you into a gang database, and guess what? You are then identified as a potential criminal. And there's none of it true. None of it true. You know, if there's people out there that get in trouble and do the wrong thing, guess what? That's on them. That's on them. Oh, wait a minute. We hear that from the police departments themselves nowadays, right? Well, you can't paint us all with a broad brush just because of a few bad apples. You can't do that. Doesn't that work for everybody? Shouldn't that work for everybody across this country? Not just law enforcement, not just politicians or, the people that try and say, hey, look, you can't blame us because of a few bad apples. That should be that way for every organization, whether you're in law enforcement or not. If there are people out there doing bad things, put them in jail. That's on them. That's on them. So, I was busy today creating flyers, making sure stuff was getting done, making phone calls, contacting people, trying to get everybody I can to that event. It is so important. You guys that are bikers out there, and we have people listening that are not bikers, because they come in here to listen to some of the national news and stuff we have to say. Because we are a political organization. And yeah, we're not out here, pitting one club against the other and that kind of stuff. Well, we always hope they work out their differences But that's not us. We are a motorcycle rights organization, a club, and we are about the Constitution, which is in great peril right now. But man, you know what I want to do now is that, you know what, I'm going to start calling the mainstream media the propaganda machine, because that's really what they are. It's really what they are. They're nothing more than a propaganda machine. CNN, MSNBC, the whole gamut, ABC, CBS, your local news. They're just propaganda machines is all they are. That's all they've turned into. And yes, I hold them responsible for what's happening nationwide. The media. Because they failed to vet the potato head we have in office now. You know who I'm talking about. That's what we call him, the potato head. Or the shell. Yeah. So, propaganda machine, if I ever say that from now on, you know who I'm talking about. It's insanity. But if you were watching the news this afternoon, besides the stuff about the COVID and everybody fighting everybody over it, and let me tell you, that's just designed to keep the chaos going. One thing, this thing, that thing, the next thing. It's just designed to keep it going and keeping us fighting, not only fighting with each other, but confused about what's going on. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see over here. General Milley's a fine guy. I mean, the list runs on and on. But one of the worst things I saw today, and I'm going to try and bring a video up if it'll work. But, man, this is something else. Let me show you this. Hopefully this video works, but you'll get the picture right off the bat. This right here. This is incredible. And I'll probably play this and a commercial will start. Who knows? But you see all these people. That's the Texas border. We find out today that according to the DPS or Border Patrol, according to them, over the past 2 months, there's been over 200,000 people a month cross the border. So in other words, if you factor in the people we haven't caught, which they predict that's another 100,000 or more, that's over 500,000 people that have crossed the Texas border alone, not including the people they've been flying in from Afghanistan. Let me ask you this much. Did you sign up for this? These people are coming with no jobs, and many of them don't speak our language. They're going to need to be taken care of. They're going to get money. They're going to get health care. They're going to get things that our homeless people can't get. They're going to be brought into this country, taken care of by guess who? Us. The elite in Washington, D.C. are not going to have to live with these people. Not that that's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is they're going to make sure they're not in their neighborhoods. They're going to make sure that their children are safe. But meanwhile, they're just willy-nilly letting people into this country no matter who they are, what kind of criminal record they have. They may be a terrorist. We don't know. And the people that are in charge don't give a damn. And let me say this, if that's happening, 200,000 a month on the Texas border, if that's happening, clearly the surge that Governor Abbott was talking about is not working. It's not working. So they put up, well, I don't know what they put up there. I haven't seen a picture of what fence they've been putting up. Maybe it's a bunch of barbed wire. Maybe it's a fence 3 feet tall. But the surge is not working. What Governor Abbott needs to do, now, you know, there are plenty of retired veterans out there that would go to the border and help with this. There really are. Maybe some militias or something. The governor needs to do something. But to do this, he's going to have some balls and political will to do this. He's going to have to fight the federal government to get this under control, because they're not showing any signs of stopping this. None. We all know what they're trying to do. We all know they're flooding the country, trying to change the demographics and trying to change the, where they stay into office forever. When these people are coming here for benefits, they're not coming here for anything else. But maybe these people are going to fill the jobs for people that don't want to work in this country. Maybe that's going to happen. I don't know. But it's going to be a while before that kicks in. These people are, they have no experience in as far as we know, in any type of jobs we would need of them, other than doing our lawns and doing hotel work or whatever else, remedial jobs. But you know what? Our country's already flooded with those people. So we're going to end up having to take care of those. I mean, did you sign up for this? Did anybody ask you if we wanted the country flooded with immigrants so the Democrats could have their socialism? Anybody asked you that? But I'm going to be going to the border soon. Now, I know they're going to have an event out in West Texas, our West Texas chapter, and they would schedule that when my granddaughter is getting married the same weekend. So, I'm sorry, guys. I have to go to my granddaughter's wedding. Just the way it works out. Sorry. But I will be there soon after that. I'm going to be going to West Texas, and we're going to go take a look at what's going on the border. Yeah. So we've been invited down, and yeah, we're going to go. And I do believe it will be interesting what we find out. Because I don't believe this surge is really that good, or maybe it was just something to say. Yeah. I don't know. But what's even worse, though, guys, if it couldn't get any worse than that, is the Democrats are planning on putting amnesty for these people on a fast track. Oh, yeah. They want to put them on the fast track. Let me say this. Everybody right now, in our community, we have a deal called a call to action. When we have something going on, political, and we need to get guys out there to put pressure on the politicians in the state legislature. So we have these calls to action. I'm going to tell you right now, we need a call to action for the people in the Congress and the Senate. Because this spending bill, this $3.5 trillion, that's really $5.5 trillion, by the time you add it all up, and they're not, let me tell you, they're not going to be able to tax the rich enough to pay for all this. If they tell you they've got it paid for, they're lying. Of course, that's what they do, is they lie. It has now become fashionable to be a liar. Yeah. And you know what we think in our community about liars? It's one of the first things about, when you join one of these clubs, the one thing that happens, you don't lie to a brother. You don't. But what we need to do, this spending bill, we've got to block it. Because amnesty is in that bill. For all these illegal aliens that are hanging around under the bridges at the border, amnesty is in the bill for them, not to mention other things that are in it. And next time I come on, we'll go down the list. But what we need to do right now is be on the horn tomorrow, calling Republican politicians and Democrats and telling them this spending bill and amnesty for all these people is a no-go. They haven't been here long enough. They don't deserve it. They have crossed the border illegally. So I'm doing a call to action now on our federal politicians, on our congressmen, on our senators, and anybody else that'll listen. And I encourage you to pass this podcast on tonight. Because all this stuff that's going on is designed to keep us busy fighting each other and trying to figure out Afghanistan, the China virus, the border, our country's financial status. You've heard me say before, back in 2010 when the Tea Parties got together, that was overspending. That's the reason that they came to life. Everybody was looking around and saying, what the hell is going on? We're spending money like madmen. Money we don't have. Money that our children is going to end up paying for. Somewhere down the line, this stuff is going to be paid. And these son of a guns were in debt already. And they're going to add more to it and saying it's paid for. Don't worry about it. That's a lie. That's a lie. Yeah, and you're right. These people with their mouths are moving, they're lying. And I suggest that you and your family quit watching, if you're watching it, any of the propaganda machines, including your local news. But I don't know, maybe here at some point we've got to go out there and get in front of the news media and say, hey, we're holding you accountable. Yes, Robbie, you're right. Don't forget critical race theory and all that mess going on in our schools. And you know what? That should be one of the number one thing is everything that's happening in our schools. Whether it's elementary, whether it's high school, whether it's college. Oh, yeah, and I forgot middle school. I have a granddaughter that is a school teacher. And I was telling her when we was talking about teachers and stuff, from my experience, and I always thought school was a prison. And I can tell you right now, in middle school, that's where you lose the kids. They're either going to do the right thing, or they're going to turn around and they're going to be no good. Maybe they don't have anybody to guide them. Maybe it's peer pressure. Maybe it's the teachers themselves, and that's the way it is nowadays. We don't need any of our peers trying to misguide us. We got teachers that'll do it willingly. It's got to stop. And I'm so proud of the parents that are going to these school boards and jumping on their ass about this. Let me tell you, we got so many articulate people out there that can take them on. This is where we have to grab the tiller and turn this ship around. Because socialism is not a good thing, and they're being taught that it is. I know, because I've heard it from my own grandkids. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Socialists have the best medical. Oh, yeah, I've heard that. It's incredible, everybody. It's incredible. But if this is your first time here on this podcast, and we always try to start every show with some news, some motorcycle news, some stuff that's going on, maybe here in Texas, around the nation. But then again, it's not like the law enforcement says that we're all a bunch of criminals running up and down the highway, raping and pillaging and doing all this other stuff. That's not happening. We're not attacking police like many young people are. We're not doing any of that. Bikers are not the problem. They're not the problem. But what you would think, with the same things they say about us and the things they do and the actions they take trying to vilify us, and yeah, they're really good at it. They've honed their craft well. But now we're seeing all this stuff at the national level. Judges, prosecutors, the FBI, all colluding with each other. Yeah. And just maybe the FBI, that's right, the process, the vets are not the problem either. Although we've been identified as potential terrorists, domestic terrorists. And that's what they're doing now to the to the people that were at the Capitol on January 6th, That was really not an insurrection. What General Milley did was insurrection. What Nancy Pelosi did was an insurrection. Those were insurrections. And yes, next time I come on, and I know I promise this, next time I come on, I'm going to bring on that Millennial Milley's video where they caught all these federal workers planning a coup d'etat. Yep. This was before the election was swiped, if you know what I mean. It was before that. They were planning a coup d'etat. They actually called it that. Yeah. It wasn't the January 6th thing. Those people, I think many of those people, I do believe in my heart that, we have forget Nancy Pelosi and her committee. That's a sham. That's another propaganda machine. Many of those people are still in jail. They've been in jail almost a year. And they're still trying to pick people out that were in the crowd and they'll end up getting some charges put against them, some made up charges, and send them to prison. I mean, yeah. Yes, sir, Mr. Tucker. Everyone forgets Russia killed more of the Germans during World War II. Everyone says Hitler was the evilest man alive, but the number of dead pale in comparison to Russian killing Ukrainians. Yeah. Hey, there's enough murder to go around by socialists, Robbie. Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah. And General Milley, if all of this stuff is true, they brought up last night that at some point Biden is going to need somebody to throw under the bus. And here comes General Milley. But I think if you throw him under the bus, you've got to throw Nancy Pelosi under the bus and anybody that knew about this and didn't pass it on to the president. That's what I'm saying. It's an incredible thing. But hey, let's get together. How you doing, Sasquatch? I see you. Let's get together and man the phones tomorrow. Spread the word, everybody. Spread the word. Share this podcast. And let's call these politicians up and tell them no, hell no on the spending bill. Republicans should fight, block it, block everything they put up every step of the way till 2022. They should not be cooperating with the Democrats whatsoever. Because every time they collude with each other, we pay for it. We pay for it. Hang on to your pockets, because they're gonna screw us. That's what it is. I see you, Six Pack. How are you doing? Man, everybody's in here tonight. It's lost my place for a second. But you know, the spending bill. And like I said, two things next time we come on. We'll be talking about the spending bill. We'll list some other stuff that's in there. And we'll be talking about the coup d'etat that was admitted by federal workers. And what the Republicans should be doing is a bunch of union tactics, because that's what they're doing on the other side. That's what they're doing. We need to get as vicious as they are. And I'm not talking about physical altercations, any of that stuff. We've got to get smarter about what we're doing. And we do not need to let them invade the events we put on at all. And you know, we're going to be testing that on October 3rd in Milam County. You know, they may try and keep us from our constitutional right to seek redress. They may actually try that. But I will say this, we've been there twice before. And you know, this is the same thing as Waco, close to it. You keep going back. You keep going back. You don't quit. You keep pointing out the injustice. You shine the light on it, everybody, is what you do. It's the same for all these politicians. It's the same for all these courts. You shine the light on them. You don't let up. You go back again and again and again until the media starts turning on them. And they will. They will. We've seen it. We've done it. And I see, I look over there and I see our video flickering every once in a while, so I don't know whether you're seeing that or not, but it's kind of disturbing. But it will go out tonight, and it will be posted at texasbikerradio.org. This podcast will, and we'll be doing a lot of things between now and October 3rd. Tonight I'm on, let's see, last night I was in Waco speaking to a group of bikers there. Today I was busy doing flyers and everything else, making phone calls, sending out emails. And then tomorrow night I'll be in Killeen, Texas, talking to a group of bikers there, a bunch of motorcycle clubs. And, you know, it never ends for me. It never ends. This is my job. And I spend every day trying to make a difference. Not beating my own horn, but this is just what when I retired in 2004, this is what I've been doing ever since. And you know, but when you first get into it, you look around, you're going, holy crap. While I was working, I had no clue that things were as bad as they were. And I had no clue that we were slipping into the abyss as in real time. So yeah. Brain damage, if you want to ride down there with us, you're certainly welcome, buddy. It'll be interesting. But, yeah. So it's always fun, everybody. You got to make it fun. You know, I mean, I have learned so much about politics, about politicians, about how to put on a podcast, how to do all this stuff. And make it work. And let me tell you, when we first started, it was rough. And sometimes it still gets that way because, you know, it's just electronics. It don't always work right. But it's what we do. And it's what we love. With that, everybody, spread the word. Pass this around. And let's see. Let me see. Oh, that's right. We got another deal on Saturday where I'll be speaking there. The Get Her Done rally. With that, everybody, have a great evening. Bye-bye. Jerry, you can meet me there. Send me a message on Facebook. Bye-bye, everybody.